have you ever had sales leaders ask you for the wrong thing because they're focused on the wrong thing? That never happens, right? Yeah. So the good news is Craig's here to help us figure out how to deal with that. So it's all on you.
All right, thank you. There's a clicker over here. All right. I think I know which button to press. Thank you all for being here. And I know I'm the last stop before lunch, which is never the enviable spot, but that's okay. And I am a marketer, so I am in the wrong room, but I appreciate you letting me be here. I do think this is a great topic, this is a moment in sales enablement where the technology is creating a leap in productivity, efficiency, and scalability. And it's going to have profound impact on what sales enablement looks like over the next 5 years. So I'm excited to share this with you. Why listen to a marketer about selling? Well, you're already here and there's no food yet. And take me, token director of marketing. I share the same need to understand what's resonating with prospects and with buyers. I depend on revenue team success for my livelihood. And we know a thing about data and processes. We've been doing this in marketing for a long time, and now there's a ton of sales data. And you need processes around that data, understanding what data to use, how to use it, and creating processes around it. Quick story, 1930s, actually known as the machine age, which I didn't know. Big innovations happening in aviation, automobiles, skyscrapers, atomic physics. And this is the context that Albert Einstein was teaching his physics class at Princeton University, a graduate class. And he gives the final exam to his students. They complete the exam. He's walking back out to the quad, and his teaching assistant comes running after him. Dr. Einstein, did you know that you gave the same exact final last year? And he says, well, of course. All the answers have changed. And that really resonates with me because it's the same test in marketing. More leads, better brand, growth. In sales, pipeline, revenue, growth. Same test, every quarter, every year. But how we do it is what changes. And in sales, there's a ton of change happening, okay? COVID created this big push towards hybrid and remote, hybrid learning, hybrid onboarding, virtual selling, self-service for buyers, digital sales rooms. These aren't going away with COVID. These are now mainstays. Buyers aren't changing. They've come to expect this freedom, and they're never going back. And it's on us as sellers and sales enablers and marketers to adjust to that. There's also this convergence happening in sales enablement, right? What were once separate tools, learning tools, sales content management tools, conversation intelligence tools, now they're all coming together. All-in-one solutions, one login for sales, holistic analytics. This is brand new. We need to figure this out. And if we don't, we're gonna fall behind. Here are some of the thorny challenges right now. There's not a lot of time spent on improvement. There's not enough time spent on coaching. And this is the one that gets me the most as a marketer, is that 70% of enablement content isn't used. And that's from Serious Decisions. Quick show of hands, how many people here are using a sales content management platform? I'm not talking about Google Drive or SharePoint, but a more robust platform. Okay, and then of those people that raised their hand, how many are leveraging analytics from that platform? Okay, so pretty good number of the people that have SEM. So that's great. This data is tremendously valuable, right? This is the quantitative metrics to understand which content is correlated with positive outcomes. Unique views, which content's getting shared, which content has the highest win rates and correlations to opportunities and wins. Very valuable, but it's very quantitative. And what it doesn't do is it doesn't give you the why. What's actually driving the impact? We get it. This piece of content works for some reason, but a lot of times if you just use that and you just start saying, hey, everybody, use this content more, that's not enough, and you'll see diminishing returns. There's something missing. Here's an example of what a Lego's sales content management dashboard looks like. You can see the rows here. This is a great way of comparing content. This one's performing better than this one. Let's promote that, demote that. It's really helpful for timing follow-ups. This is one of the really, really great use cases for the sales content analytics, is knowing when to follow up. If someone just shared a piece of content or just viewed a piece of content, you can time your follow-up based on that action. Very valuable. But it's like looking through a keyhole. You're not getting the full picture. Enter messaging intelligence. And this is what the topic is today. This is where we want to focus. And I Googled messaging intelligence, and they think it's an SMS technology. So this is new. This is very new in enablement. Compiles data from conversations for the purpose of message optimization. Why does this matter? According to the RAIN group, 84% of buyers say that reps convey value ineffectively. We have a messaging problem. Sales leaders do not have their finger on the pulse of what salespeople are actually saying. They hear things, there's anecdotal stories, there might be a recording they hear here and there. But in terms of having a really efficient, scalable way of knowing what our sales team is saying, it's not happening at a lot of organizations. And marketers are very removed from sales conversations. We don't know anything. We don't. We hear feedback from the field, but what we don't have is the context. How was this piece of collateral that my team created used? In what context was it used? And then are there pieces of it that worked and pieces of it didn't? How do I optimize this content? I don't know, and I don't get that from looking at usage. The answer is in the game tape, okay? Athletes use game tape all the time. We need to do this in sales. All of the answers, effectively, that we need is in this conversation data. The problem is there's too damn much of it. There's hundreds of hours, maybe even thousands of hours of sales conversations. There's no way that you could have somebody listen to them all, and you can try to pick one here, do some spot checking, but that's not efficient. You're not going to be listening to the right conversations. You might get lucky, pick up an insight here, an insight there, but that's not an efficient process. But this is where we find examples of what good looks like, of conversations and messaging that we want to model, of mistakes or errors or learning opportunities that need to be injected into our training and into our onboarding. So how do we mine this? Well, there's a hard way that we've already talked about, which is just listening and sitting in on calls. There used to be ride-alongs. I don't think that's happening too much anymore. Or you can develop a really strong culture of sharing and coaching and have self-curation, right? A rep has a call, they know they didn't do very well on it, and they actually bring that to the table. They share that with their manager and say, I want to review this call at the next group, at the next team meeting, at the next coaching session. That does exist, but it's not common. And it's a little bit, some cultures are the exact opposite of that. They don't want people listening. They don't want people knowing their mistakes. The easier way is leveraging technology. CI helps us mine this, but even some of the CI tools that exist today, the back end is great. I mean, we're talking amazing algorithms for transcribing, understanding, translating into different languages, picking up accents, being able to understand even facial expressions and pauses and understanding where the filler words are. I mean, the technology is phenomenal. The problem is that we didn't really give the attention to the front end, right? So we have all this conversation data, but we don't have, as enablers or even marketers, we don't have a great way of tapping into it and mining it efficiently. So Lego just came out with a product called Showreels. Now, I think we're the first in this space. I'm sure everyone's going to come out with something similar. But the idea is that you can use AI to pick out the snippets that matter. If you're a Boston Celtics coach, I'm from Boston. I live in Texas now, but I'm from Boston. So I'm still getting over the loss. But if you're him, You got a lot of assistant coaches on the payroll, people that can actually listen to all and watch all the game film and then show him, hey, look at these plays, we did really well with these, and then look at these plays, we did really crappy, we need to do this better and let's share this with the rest of the team. He doesn't need show reels. He doesn't need technology. But if you're a sales leader, you don't have the time or the resources. You just don't. If only there was a way just to watch the highlights. So this is what show reels looks like. It's very intuitive, like a Google search. You just type in a topic, and it will give you a highlight reel from your sales conversations, sorted however you want, recency by rep, by deal stage, by industry, whatever. However you want to filter that show reel. And you can watch custom highlight reels based on a certain topic. Topic could be a new product that you just launched. Or it could be a competitor that keeps coming up. Or it could be really anything. It could be, I'm trying to think of the third, I can't think of the third use case, but this is a great way to get a bunch of different snippets from different calls together and understand, is your team messaging consistently? Are they messaging on topic around this certain topic? Now you can also do this for a deal stage. So this is really helpful for customer success. Or if there's someone new coming in from the buying stage, you can actually share these highlight reels with the buying team. So if a new buyer is coming into the process, instead of giving them, hey, here's the 6 recordings that you've missed, catch up, you're giving them a 10-minute highlight reel of what they've missed. Really, really useful. Or you can do this for a single sales call. So let's say you're about to have your third meeting and you want to review and catch up what's been going on so far. Instead of listening to the previous 45-minute calls, just watch 10-minute highlight reels of each one or 5-minute highlight reels of each one. And a sales coach can also do this. If you're working intensely with a certain rep on a certain problem and you want to give that person extra attention, you can listen to the highlight reels from their last 4 calls, whatever that is. So it's a way of condensing these calls into those snippets that really matter. Hopefully this will work. This is going to be a preview of what show reels looks like in practice. We did speed it up, and we did block out some things for anonymity. So you're typing into the search box there, and then it brings up all of the different snippets, and you can go into any one of them. This is about digital sales rooms. This is the topic. Here's another rep talking about it.
This digital sales room, I'll click into it, and ultimately it's already pre-populated with all those content items based on the template, right? So it shows you my sales enablement team, the marketing team, these are the content that they've said align with that template, right? So now with everything, I have a couple different ways to share it, so I can do that link, if I want to do a hyperlink again, or they're able to take this material and they're actually able to share it out with the prospect and say, hey, I want to build that digital sales, they're going to create that hub for my prospect, like put in content, right, all of that material is relevant. I can also record and personalize videos in here and put that the proper movement to present something, kind of create that differentiation. There's chat enabled in this, so I can actually communicate back and forth. What I'm going to do here in the follow-up,
it's almost over.
On a digital sales room, this will actually give you a sneak peek into a tool that sales teams are using through the platform to be able to share information with physicians. So this is a cool activity, but I'm going to create one of them for you, and then I'm going to put a couple of videos on the platform. So they're each familiar with.
Okay. Okay, so I think that gives you a nice flavor for what the technology does. What that example actually didn't do, that if we had allowed it to play more, it's actually going to do a minute before and a minute after that topic comes up. So it gives you more time to understand the prospect's reaction, which I think is the most important piece. Now, there's the messaging piece and making sure your reps are talking about it right, but then the other really essential piece is then how do the prospects talk about it, right? And that helps you optimize your messaging, and you model after what your prospects are saying. That's the language and that's the mindset that they're in, and you want to model that and mirror that. What are they like? What do they don't like? Where do they look confused? Right? That's what you can glean from these type of snippets. And imagine doing this for your top 5 product features. I remember the other use case. It's objections. So plug in an objection that is very common, and look at the way that your sales team is responding to those objections. And then how do the prospects respond to those objections? This is the qualitative element. Okay, the quantitative is going to come from the sales content analytics. CI is going to give you the qualitative data, and it's richer. Now, it's harder to say, CEO asks for a report and says, how are we doing on messaging? It's hard, right? Because there are no numbers around this. This is squishy, but this is where the richness comes from. This is what actually drives messaging improvement and optimization and efficiency. You're going to identify that winning formula to understand, and this is going to help you close deals faster. And the other great use case is taking snippets, examples of what great looks like, and putting that into your training. Talking about that in your coaching sessions and baking that into your onboarding. Incredibly valuable. Here's a quote from one of our customers, says it better than I can. Day to day, there's no better way to capture competitive intelligence, positioning, and feedback than listening to a call and analyzing the data. I can speed up tracks, use transcripts, and search actual data to hand all the different scenarios we encounter. And I can actively coach the team based on that data. Same test, different answers. And if you take anything away, just maybe think about the test that you take every day in your roles and what those answers might be today. Thank you.
You up for a couple questions?
Absolutely.
All right. By the way, I really like I had not heard that Einstein story before.
I hope it's true. My CMO used it,
yeah.
So he's my source.
It was on the internet. It's got to be true, right? All right. So we've got a couple people that want to know, does your enablement org provide the conduit, this came in a few minutes ago, provide the conduit back for feedback to your asset providers and stakeholders from sales, and how do you manage it?
Oh, that's a pretty
weird. It showed up 18 minutes ago. Oh, strange. Okay. So maybe I'm not seeing the questions correctly. They're in here. I'm on the recents. So what questions do you all have? Let's have to do this old school.
You said CI, what does that stand for?
Sorry, conversation intelligence.
Conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, CI can mean a few different things. So, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
How do you gauge effectiveness when it's not being recorded and it's more face-to-face for the sales teams?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, most things have been over Zoom lately, which has been great for tools like this because it's capturing almost 100% of the conversation. Now, of course, you need to make sure that you have their permission. Now, what we are seeing as we return back to work is a trend towards actually recording in-person conversations, and it's not the norm yet. So people will be like, why do you want to record this, right? But I do think as this technology catches on, because there's value for the buyers too, not as much, but there's value for the buyers as well. I think this will become more normal, and all sales conversations will become normal to record.
I think I saw
a question. I was introduced to a company or a couple of lads from MIT that wanted to basically discuss AI that they're creating, which is similar to what you're talking about, which is basically recording and giving you some immediate feedback for your message and make sure it's good for training. This was live coaching on a call. Is this application, able to use that possibly, i.e., for instance, an account executive on the call, it's doing the same thing, listening to what they're saying, it's obviously got some pointers. It's actually telling them, hey, you're going too fast. You need to focus on, they've mentioned this, so you need to bring up this concept.
Live while they're on the call.
Yeah, it was really sort of, it was groundbreaking.
Yeah, so I know so the technology's there. Like we have that technology, but have chosen not to present that live because we find that it's very distracting for a rep to be getting that feedback in the middle of a conversation. So we provide that to them after. And that's, so we have a tool called AI Virtual Coaching, and this is one of the ways that we help scale coaching. So there's two elements. One, we leverage self-assessment, which is actually probably the most valuable thing you can do, especially with Zoom, where you can actually see yourself on camera. Seeing yourself on camera is one of the best ways to improve. And I have someone recording this, and I'm going to watch myself after this. And it shows, okay, this was your pace. You didn't let them talk enough. You used too many fillers. You didn't hit this, and this. That is pre-programmed for the AI to look for. So you can do that self-assessment. And then it also lets coaches zero in on the snippets that are important. But again, that needs to get programmed up front. You need to program it to look for these phrases, and the AI will understand synonyms and similar context and present those. But yeah, not live while they're actually presenting. But I mean, that we'll see. I mean, if sellers want that, I'm sure the product will accommodate it eventually. Not yet. Not yet, but that's the other piece of it, right? So you have the conversation data, and then it would be really great to then have any analytics from the content itself, right? But that's a harder thing to do because there's no recording happening when they're digesting the content. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
So on one of the screens, it was searching, right? It said discovery, right? So maybe we're going to look at discovery calls, but searching on discovery is not going to find those calls. Is there a point you put in like certain words to listen for on a discovery? Yeah,
it's you got to put in the words that it's going to find in a transcription, and it will look at synonyms, similar to the Google functionality where it knows similar phrases. It will bring those in as well. But like using like a topic like discovery, unless the word discovery gets mentioned, I don't think that's going to come up. That would be a tricky thing to program. But not to say it couldn't be done, and maybe there are some high-level themes that you could search for, and it'll then search for these 30 phrases based on that. But I don't know that that's in the product as of today. Yeah.
We have time for one more. Oh, here we go.
Oh, this is actually, maybe you don't want to, this is kind of a hot topic question, if I may.
Uh-oh.
Considering the dangers, potential dangers of AI, how do you avoid creating an overly robotic sales? What do you do?
It's my worst fear, actually. Because there's deep fake sales videos. And it looks like a seller. It looks like it's a real person. You can go to their LinkedIn and it's a person, but they didn't actually record the video. That to me is very dangerous because then all sales videos are going to lose credibility. And I don't know if this is an appropriate audience, but I thought, well, maybe at a Lego we would start all of our sales calls with, blah, 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 because there's no way anyone would program that. And then that we'd become known for that. Or maybe we do something a little bit, that looks a little bit more normal, but something very unique. So they would know, okay, this isn't a deep fake. No one would do a deep fake that crazy.
You don't want to create the Skynet of sales? Right. All right. Very good idea.
Yeah.
Well, Craig, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing with us.
Great to be here. Thank you.